restore. We are here, come to heal, help and restore. We are here.
After God's own heart. Not that David was perfect. The word heart refers to the mind. So what God is saying is that I like his mind because this man is a man after my heart. His thoughts pursue me. Matter of fact, if you have the opportunity to read Psalms is David all through the book of Psalms saying, matter of fact, it was him that penned as the deer pants for, Lord, I thirst after you. God knew something about David's heart. I like that heart. I like how he thinks. I like how he moves. When God looks at you, he's not looking at how you look physically. He's not even looking at your situation that's around you. You know what God is looking at? What's your mind like? What are your thoughts like? You don't pursue me. You don't thirst after me. It's like you hungry for something, but it ain't me. You can even be here. Eliab, he showed up, but God said, I rejected him. And don't look on the outer appearance, because it's not about how it looks. It's about what's on the, Lord, I want you to change me from the inside on the inside out. And so one of the things that we have to practice is that we're going to have to practice closing our eyes and not being so attached. Some of us quit on God because of how it looks. God said, oh, see, what man does, man looks on the outside and makes decisions. God says, I look on the inside, and then I determine what I'm going to do based upon the inside. Do you know that God can bless me, and it ain't got nothing to do with the world or the environment? Has nothing to do with my physical strength. Has nothing to do with how I look. Do you know God curses beautiful people just as well as he curses ugly people? They exist. They're out there. I don't know. I can't, it is what it is. Do you know God doesn't care about how you physically look. Matter of fact, just for you to know, when Jesus came, there was no physical beauty. The Bible says that you would desire him. Think about that. The form that Jesus decided to come in, that the Bible says that if you looked at him, you would have not wanted to pursue him based upon how he looked. He did not look like a leader. He was not the most attractive man in the world. But some of you, if you was the Son of God, you'd have came down here glossing, gold chariot, your hair follicles would have been celestial. You'd have never had to comb your hair. You'd have fixed it. Wait, listen, I'll never have your stuff would have been on floss every day. Nothing but silk. The Bible says that when Jesus came, he was born in a pig's trough. And there was no room for him in the world when he came. He was born, his mother had him outside. They didn't have any room. There was no place for him. And when he was born, the King Herod tried to kill him. And he was taken to Africa, where he spent his childhood growing up until the king died, and then he was able to come back to Nazareth. He was raised in Africa, but he was from Nazareth. And because of the persecution, he couldn't even live there. They had to flee to another country. Matter of fact, you hear about Jesus when he was born, you hear about Jesus when he was 12, and then you hear about Jesus when he was 30. Skips all that time, all of the stuff that he had to go through. And when Jesus showed up on the scene, when you looked at him, it wasn't anything. It wasn't. You wasn't impressed when you saw him. But you know what drew thousands of people to him? It's his spirit, his mind. You know what makes you ugly? What would make you ugly is your thoughts and your attitude. You know what makes people beautiful? That's why you don't judge a couple walking down the street. You don't judge and say, what is? Because sometimes when somebody has a beautiful mind, they can speak life into you. You say, and all of a sudden, what's ugly turns beautiful. And sometimes when the mind is nasty and it's filthy, what's beautiful turns ugly. And when somebody says, oh, isn't that so beautiful? Nah, leave that engine don't work. Leave that car alone. I don't care how I look. Get out of there. That's a lemon. You don't want to. Somebody said, well, that don't look too good. Hey, but it's a good engine. You ever had a mechanic tell you, hey, listen, it don't look too good, but it'll last. You ain't got to worry about breaking down. Does God deal with us the same way? If we were to examine your last 50 thoughts, what would we find? You've been beating yourself up, living in guilt. You can't let it go. Stuck. You replaying old conversations with people who can't even participate with you because they didn't forgot the lines. You rehearsing old lines and old movie scenes of your life, and you can't move forward. It's time for us to have a breakthrough. It's time for us to be able to move forward. What do we need to learn? We need to learn from Samuel. You caught up on how it looks, and you're not letting it go. If you're here this morning, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. Hey, give yourself permission. It hurt me. I'm gonna cry. I'm so sad. But tomorrow I'm gonna get up and I gotta make some progress. Because my next blessing is not in my old thought. My next blessing is not in old imaginations. My next blessing is, well, Brother Williams, will I ever be happy again? Only if you'll be willing to let it go. And believe that God can give you a new day with new blessings. Brother Williams, will it ever get better? If only you let yesterday go. Because if you believe that your happiness was wrapped in yesterday, then you will forever, for the rest of your life, be sad because you felt like this was the only, you're lying to yourself. Some of you need to challenge some of your beliefs. This was the best season of my life. You're lying to yourself. You haven't seen the best season of your life. God ain't finished yet. This was supposed to be, this was my last chance. It's not the last sale. They're going to have another Black Friday. It's not the last sale. That wasn't the last sweater that they were going to sell in life. Sometimes you lie to yourself and you get yourself caught up on it. Well, that's it for me. Who told you to close the curtain on your life before God did? Challenge your beliefs. Challenge your thoughts. That's not real. Everybody's angry with me. That's not true. He's one person. It may be a lot of people. It may be a lot of people, but at least one. Everybody's talking about me. Everybody's talking about me. You're not that important. Calm down. You're not that important. For some people, you're just a footnote in their life. You're not that important. I'm never I'm never going to be happy again. You're lying to yourself. I'll never feel joy again. Things can't turn around for me. I'm always going to struggle. You know what? It always happens to me. It always happens to me. For real, it will always happen for you for the rest of your life. This is always going to happen. And you know what you do? Because you think it, you believe it. And because you believe it, you create it. Because faith creates. So, by faith, I can move the mountain. But when you worry and you complain, or you become negative and then you believe in negative things, by having faith in negative things, just as faith can move a mountain, having faith in the wrong things can actually bring mountains. And you can isolate and lock yourself in and create your own dungeon. And say, look, see, I told you. See, it's gonna be like this. Instead of believing, I believe in God. And even though it looks real bad around me, I'm talking to somebody this morning, even though it looks real bad all around me, and I'm in this fire, I believe that Jesus can get me out of this fire and I can experience a better day. Sharon, Misha.